every corner in Liberia. We bring you what's making headlines. We keep you connected to news you can trust.
Please listen at 7 p.m. every weekdays for Freedom Evening News Basket.
From our main studio in Central Monrovia, a pleasant good evening and welcome to this Monday, August 26, 2024 presentation of the program Freedom Evening News Basket. It's a 45 minutes of the latest news for Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our one world. My name is Thomas Koju. We're presenting this Monday presentation. The top stories we're following this evening: Economic Community of West African States schedules meeting with former Liberian President George Weah following his complaint against the Boubacar Koun's administration over what he termed as unprovoked attack at the party headquarters. The government of Liberia announces students and faculty exchange programs between Liberian University and university in the United States of America. Members of the legislature signed a certificate to reconvene the second special session of the 55th legislature in consonance with Article 32B of the 1986 Liberian Constitution. And away from Liberia, at least 60 people have been killed after a dam burst because of heavy rain in war-torn Sudan, according to the BBC. The details of these, including the bulletin of news, the actual voices, are all coming up after this very short break. Many thanks for joining us. At this point, we'll cross over to Studio B, where Stephen Compton is seated to read for the bulletin of news. A pleasant good evening to you, Compton.
Good evening, Rola. The Economic Community of West African States has responded to former President George Weah's communication, drawing its attention to a recent protest action at the headquarters of the Congress for Democratic Change. The ex-Liberian leader, through his communication, described the incident as an unprovoked attack by the Boubacar Koun's administration. He further urged ECOWAS to take proactive diplomatic steps to ensure that Liberia's democracy is not jeopardized by the current administration's alleged misuse of political power. Meanwhile, responding to the former Liberian leader's communication, ECOWAS, through its resident representative Josephine Krumand, disclosed that an ECOWAS delegation will arrive in the country on today, August 26, for a one-day working visit. She added that ECOWAS President Oman Ali Touré and other members of the delegation will meet with former President George Weah to discuss issues surrounding his recent complaint. The government of Liberia has announced student and faculty exchange programs between Liberian universities and universities in the United States of America. Addressing a team of reporters at the Roberts International Airport Sunday upon his arrival from the U.S., President Joseph Boakai announced the establishment of student and faculty exchange program. According to the Liberian leader, the exchange program will offer Liberian students and faculties valuable international exposure while promoting academic collaboration and the sharing of knowledge between the two countries. He added that the program is expected to benefit students, educators, and institutions in both nations, contributing to a richer educational experience of fostering long-standing partnership. The Liberian leader furthered that the partnership comes in the wake of a call for substantial investment in Liberia's key sectors, including education, agriculture, mining, energy, infrastructure, and real estate at the National Black Business Conference in Atlanta, U.S., where he served as a keynote speaker. In consonance with Article 32B of the Liberian Constitution, members of the legislature have signed a certificate to reconvene the second special section of the 55th legislature. The certificate mandates that both houses of the legislature to reconvene its special session beginning Thursday, August 29 and ends on Thursday, September 19, 2024. Article 32B of the Constitution states that the President shall, on his own initiative or upon receipt of a certificate signed by at least one-fourth of the total membership of each house and proclamation extend a regular session of the legislature beyond the date for adjournment or called a special extraordinary session of the body to discuss or act upon matters of national emergencies and concerns. According to a release, the extension or called is at the request of the legislature. The proclamation shall be issued not later than 48 hours after receipt of the certificate by the President. The reconvening of the legislature is intended for members of that august body to cut short their constitutional break, which commences on July 20, 2024, and ends in October. That's on October 11, 2024. The National Patriotic Party, through its embattled national chairman, George Morba, has filed a raid of mandamus against the National Elections Commission before their justice in chamber at the Supreme Court. The raid of mandamus is a legal instrument used by courts of superior jurisdiction to compare the performance of specific act refused by a lower court. It can be recalled that the Jane Biden's faction of the National Patriotic Party argued that, consistent with the September 18, 2020 ruling of the Civil Law Court, they were recognized as legitimate and legal authority to transact business on behalf of the party. However, in a four-count petition, the NPP embattled chairman's faction of the party alleged that the National Elections Commission has refused to interact with his faction of the party as mandated by the Supreme Court of Liberia recently. Meanwhile, the parties have been cited to a conference on Wednesday, August 28, before the presiding justice in chamber, Yusuf Kaba. The Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center is calling for more effort in the fight against sexual gender-based violence in Liberia. Speaking at the opening ceremony of the Liberia National Police Women and Children Protection Section on Investigation and Protection of SGBV training organized by the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center in Monrovia, Colonel Frank Usidad of the KNIPTC stressed the need for a robust effort in the fight against SGBV across the country. He termed sexual gender-based violence as a weapon of war perpetrated against civilians, most of whom, he said, are women during conflict. Colonel Hawuzid noted that such violence had affected millions of people around the world, thus causing them to live with a long-lasting effect of physical harm. The Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center representative added that such act of violence undermines the consolidation of social and economic gains, thus calling on policymakers to ensure that there are more support and funds directed to the fight against SGBV. For his part, the acting police inspector general William Morva lauded the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center and the partners for their support towards the LNP. He at the same time urged the participants of the training to utilize the knowledge gained during the training when investigating sexual gender-based violent cases. Magistrate Ben Baiko of the Monrovia City Court has ordered the detention of several protesters to face multiple charges for their alleged involvement in last Thursday's riot that took place at the headquarters of the Congress for Democratic Change. According to court records, Monday, the defendants were present at the scene of the riot near the CDC headquarters in Congo Town. When officers from the Liberia National Police arrived to disperse the crowd, the protesters responded by throwing stones, resulting in injuries to both law enforcement personnel and civilians. The LMP stated that 16 of its officers who were assigned to the police support unit sustained major injury during the confrontation. The protester also reportedly damaged several vehicles, including a Toyota belonging to senior police officer Robert Side and a Toyota Corolla owned by Mohammed Kamara and a white JMC bus belonging to LTC also damaged. The defendants, who include Aaron Saul, Emmanuel Sumo, Corporal Boykai, Gifty Johnson, and others, were arrested and informed of their constitutional rights. The Ministry of Gender has trained over 50 doctors, the directors, coordinators, and technical staff of Gender and Social Inclusion unit from 5 implementing government ministries of the Liberia Women Empowerment Project on the component fold of the project. The Liberia Women Empowerment Project is a 5-year US $44.6 million women empowerment program implemented by the ministry through the project management unit and funded by the World Bank. The training, which was held in Monrovia from August 22 to 23, 2024, was aimed at strengthening public institutions involved in projects implementation to advance gender equality and women's participation in Liberia. The initiative brought together and enhanced the capacity of approximately 50 technical staff from the ministries of Agriculture, Education, Internal Affairs, Health, and Finance and Development Planning. Speaking on behalf of the Minister of Gender, the Director for Research and Statistics at the Ministry, Samuel Yenebad, stated that the achievement of gender equality, which is the focus of the project, is a gradual process and urged the participants to utilize the knowledge acquired. At the climax of the training, the participants lauded the Liberian government through the Ministry of Gender for organizing the event as they individually share their experiences with the media. The National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority has clarified recent World Bank letter dated August 16, 2024, which claimed that no official request for the restructuring of the 40 million fishery project was submitted by the government of Liberia. But NAFA, in a release dated August, noted that the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning submitted a restructuring request on September 12, 2022 to the then World Bank country manager for Liberia. The release furthered that following the request, the World Bank's previous technical team deployed and approved a work plan and budget which pertained specifically to component 1 of the project, improving management and government fisheries, and particularly subcomponent management and governance of fisheries. The NAFAD release noted that the activities indicated purchasing vehicles and generators to enhance project implementation in rural Liberia and support NAFAD's data collection effort, representing only 2% of the total 40 made on project budget with compensation for the project coordinators accounting for just one person. Well, Rola, it's back to you for the continuation of the news program.
The Bulletin of News with Stephen Compton is a regular featured here on Freedom Even News Basket. If you just joined us, you are listening to Freedom Even News Basket, a 45 minutes of the latest news from Liberia, Africa, and elsewhere. My name is Thomas Wella, presenting tonight's presentation. In the top stories to carry this evening, Economic Community of West African States schedules meeting with former Liberian President George Weah following his complaint against the Boubacar Combs administration or what he termed as unprovoked attack on the party headquarters. The government of Liberia announces students and faculty exchange programs between Liberian University and a university in the United States of America. Members of the legislature signed a certificate to reconvene the second special session of the 55th legislature in consonance with Article 32B of the 1986 Liberian Constitution. Let us bring in the voices of those behind the news. The government of Liberia has announced student and faculty exchange programs to be held between Liberian University and University in the United States of America. Addressing a team of reporters at the Rabat International Airport on Sunday, upon his arrival from the U.S., President Joseph Boakai announced the establishment of the student and faculty exchange programs. According to the Liberian leader, the exchange programs will offer Liberian students and faculty valuable information, exposures, while promoting academic collaboration and sharing of knowledge between the two countries.
University, make arrangements to exchange programs as well as faculty exchange. Okay. For them to work with us to strengthen our education. When we do these things, we follow up. I hope to see them here.
That's the voice of President Joseph Yuman Boakai there, speaking upon his arrival at the Rabat International Airport, where he announced that universities in Liberia and university in America will partner for the good of students between the two countries. In consonance with Article 32B of the Liberian Constitution, members of the legislature have signed a certificate to reconvene the second special session of the 55th National Legislature. The certificate mandates both houses of the legislature to reconvene its special session beginning Thursday, August 29, and ends on Thursday, September 19, 2024. Here is Robert Haynes, who is the director of press at the House of Representatives.
In consequence with Article 32B of the 1986 Constitution, members of the 55th legislature have affixed their signature to a certificate to reconvene for the second special section of the 55th legislature. The certificate mandates both members of the House and the Senate to reconvene its special section beginning the 29th of August on Thursday to Thursday, September 19, 2024. The 55th legislature, under the gavel of House Speaker Councillor J. Fonaki Kofa, have acknowledged that there are several legislations of time-sensitive nature and that of integrity, coupled with the submission of the draft recast budget 2024, which demands the urgent attention of the legislature. They have affixed their signature consistent with Article 32B of the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia to reconvene for the second special section from Thursday, 29th of August to end on September 19. Distinguished member of the Fourth Estate, let's inform you, according to Article 32B of the Constitution, it states that the President shall, on his own initiative or upon receipt of a certificate signed by at least 1/4 of the total membership of each House, and by proclamation, extend a regular section of the legislature beyond the date for adjournment, or call a special extraordinary section of the body to discuss or act upon matters of national emergencies and concerns. When the extension or call is at a request of the legislature, as in this case, the lawmakers calling themselves back to work in the interest of this country, the proclamation shall be issued no later than 48 hours after receipt of the certificate by the President. Distinguished member of the Fourth Estate, the reconvening of the 55th legislature is intended for members to cut short their constitutional break which started up on the 20th of July and was expected to run up to the 11th of October. But now, members of the legislative body will return to work actively Thursday, 29 August. That will run up to September 19, 2024.
Robert Haynes is the director of press at the House of Representatives. There, a briefing reporter has signed at the lower house about the reconvening of members of the legislature on the second special session of the 55th legislature, which is expected to kick off on Thursday, August 29, and will run up to September 19, 2024. The Ministry of Gender has trained over 50 directors, coordinators, and technical staff of the Gender Social Inclusion Unit from 5 implementing government ministries of the Liberia Women Empowerment Project honor the complement 4 of the project. The Liberia Women Empowerment Project is a 5-year US $44.6 million empowerment program implemented by the ministry through the project management unit and funded by the World Bank. Speaking on behalf of the Minister of Gender, the Director for Research and Statistics at the Ministry of Gender, Samuel Imanba, stated that the achievement of the gender equality, which is the focus point of the project, is a gradual process and urged the participants to utilize the knowledge while they acquire them in moving forward.
One of the key activities of this project is to enable the positive social norms and pilot enhancement for basic social services, to provide economic and social empowerment opportunities, and strengthen public institutions to advance gender equality. And most time when we talk about gender equality, we want to look at women. We want to change the paradigm, but also look at men too, as to be considered in the issue of achieving gender equality. But gender equality is not an event, it's a process. If you observe from the past years in our society, because of some cultural practices and norms, things that girls were not allowed to do, but as we go along, girls are doing things, and even except the position, going to the sciences. I want to charge you. Take everything seriously. These little things that matter a lot. Sometimes we overlook these things, but these things help us along the way. As we dealt with 2 days, we also want to strengthen, to monitor, track. Because most of the period of time, you find that we are undertaking activities, but the activities.
Meanwhile, the participant of the training lauded the government of Liberia through the Ministry of Gender for organizing the event, as they individually shared their experiences with the media. We sincerely apologize. We can lay our hand on that clip. If you just joining us, you are listening to the Monday, August 26, 2024 presentations of the program Freedom Even News Basket. It's a 45-minute news presentation that brings you stories from Liberia and elsewhere. And the newscast is relayed on Radio Howard in Papa District, Green Chitma County. Continue with more development on the program. The Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center is calling for more effort in the fight against sexual gender-based violence within Liberia. Speaking at the opening ceremony of the Liberia National Police Women and Gender Protection Section on investigation and prevention of SGBV training organized by Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center in Monrovia, Colonel Frank Hinard of the Cabinet stressed the need for robust effort in the fight against sexual gender-based violence across the country. To end sexual gender-based violence as a weapon of war perpetrating against civilians, most of whom he said are women during conflict.
Modern armed conflicts have common characteristics. Prominent amongst them is the sexual and gender-based violence perpetrated against civilians, majority being women and children. In most cases, sexual and gender-based violence is often used as a weapon of war to demean weaker groups, tribes, and their affiliates during and in the aftermath of conflicts. The victims suffer long-lasting psychological and/or physical harm. Due to the severity of this violence in conflict and post-conflict environments, the United Nations Security Council came out with a resolution 1820, which has classified rape and other forms of sexual violence as war crime, crime against humanity, and genocide. Ladies and gentlemen, as we may all be aware, our dear continent Africa continues to witness conflict, even though countless efforts have been made to make Africa a safer place for our children and generations yet unborn. These conflicts create conditions where crimes such as sexual and gender-based violence are visited on the vulnerable in society. These unfortunate conditions have huge possibilities of undermining the consolidation of socio-economic gains and the overall stability environment. This, therefore, means those of us clothed with a responsibility must understand our role in protecting and providing support for the vulnerable in our society. As a training center of excellence, the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center has over the years enhanced and continued to develop the capacities of trainees to respond to complex peace and security challenges across Africa and beyond. The center therefore places premium on equipping police officers with the requisite knowledge and skills to effectively and efficiently operate in their respective home countries and in multi-dimensional peace support operations.
For his part, Acting Police Inspector General Williams Mohamed Lawley, the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, and all our partners for the support to the Liberian National Police.
So this course is designed to enhance the capacity of all of us, all police officers, especially you in the WAPS section, so that we all will know the core value of investigating sexual-based violence cases. As you go through the training, you will know what it entails. As an investigator on such subject, you have to know key issues: physical violence, verbal violence, sexual violence, socio-economic violence, domestic violence we experience in our society, harassment and sexual harassment in the workplace. Despite the overall challenge of investigating grave human rights violations committed in a conflict of arms, investigation and prosecution, SGBV, and its own unique challenges have been prominent in society. During conflict, you have women and children that are vulnerable. And
he is the Acting Inspector General of the Liberian National Police, William Mohamed Lawley, in the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center for organizing programs in the fight against sexual gender-based violence, bringing us to have past the hour mark. The news, if you're just joining us, you are listening to Freedom Evening News Basket. It's a 45-minute news from Liberia and elsewhere. These are top stories we're carrying this evening. Economic Community of West African States schedules meeting with former Liberian President George Weah following his complaint against the Baka Combs administration or what he termed as unprovoked attack on the party headquarters. Government of Liberia announces students and faculty exchange programs between the Liberian University and university in the United States of America. Members of the legislature signed a certificate to reconvene the second special session of the 55th legislature in consider with Article 32B of the 1986 Liberian Constitution. And away from Liberia, at least 60 people have been killed after a dam burst because of heavy rain in war-torn Sudan, according to the BBC. We're taking a break. Come back, we'll continue with the news program. Many thanks for rejoining us. The program manager of the Liberia Animal Welfare and Conservation Society, Paul Wobart, has called for the protection of dogs across the country. International Dog Day is held on 26 August every year, created in 2004 by pet lifestyle expert in Cond to bring together the awareness to the condition of animals and encourage adoption. The aim of the day is to help people talk better and carry on better care of their pets and make more responsible decisions when it comes to getting or looking after dogs. This year is the 20th anniversary of the day, and the organizers have suggested 20 ways to celebrate, including taking your dog out for a walk, adopting a dog, or donating blanket to a local rescue center for dogs. Speaking further, Goba said dogs are meant censorship and companionship and also protect the homes from thieves. Manager Gobert made the session Monday during the celebration of the International Door Day held in Painesville.
Security, just as the program manager did mention, there are a lot of roles. They will serve as companions. Security, just as the program manager did mention, there are a lot of roles. They will serve as companions.
We sincerely apologize for that wrong episode. Meanwhile, the manager for the Advocates in Education for Liberia Animal Welfare and Conservation Society, and Njala, said Liberians should keep domestic animals such as dogs within the society.
Security, just as the program manager did mention, there are a lot of roles. They will serve as companions. It depends the way we treat them. If you raise a dog for security purpose, they are going to guard you. You will be lying down, that dog will be at risk. They will be left vulnerable. Criminals will come. Most cases, they will be vulnerable, and criminals will come if they want to get their way through to enter in the house or to get anything, and they know that the door is serving as obstacle. They're going to kill the door if they have the power. So these animals are left vulnerable. We are here today to speak. They don't have the physical voice that we have to speak for them. So we are here to speak for them, for people who are raising them to take that responsibility, to recognize their effort, to recognize that they are valuable to us, we that raise them, and not only us, they can also be beneficiary to our neighbors.
And Angela is the manager for the Advocates in Education for Liberia Animal Welfare and Conservation Society. They are speaking, where she urged Liberians to keep domestic animals such as dogs within the society. She made a statement on Monday during a program marking the International Day of Dog. Coming up next is the foreign development, but this will set the pace. The Fulani Progressive Union of Liberia has launched a massive campaign aimed at curbing what it termed as discrimination, segregation, and harassment by some state security officers and public servants within the country. The union president Achimin Sangari disclosed that over 700 passports have been seized from Fula people by the Passport Department at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Speaking when he appeared on a local radio show, Sangari recalled that on several occasions, Fula people were allegedly denied by the National Identification Registry.
To be an ethnic group, you are already an ethnic group. We are asking the Liberian government to stop the intimidation, the harassment of our people, the discrimination. Father or your grandfather can be a naturalized citizen. You will be a born Liberian. When you go for your passport or let's say your national ID card, they will ask you to bring your father documents. When you bring the documents, the next question they will ask you is how your father managed to get it. When you go bring your grandfather documents, they will ask you how your grandfather managed to get it. As I speak to you, at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs right now, we have over 750 Fulani passports that is seized by the Passport Division of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs illegally. Our children are going to school. They are brilliant in school, but here stay. They will never be awarded scholarship. They will never be an employee of the civil servant of Liberia because they are Jalo, they are Ba, they are so, and what have you. Whenever you see a Fula man, he's not hard to know. When you travel from here to Ganta or from here to Bovarasa, when you are sitting in a car, they will come and say, may I know you? When you give your national identity card, they will ask you, calm down, how you manage to get your identity. It's complete harassment. It's unacceptable. This is why we are fighting for. We are tired of being marginalized, discriminated by the Liberian security, especially the Immigration Service, the people of the National ID Card Service, and the Passport Division.
Also speaking with Freedom News, a member of the Executive Union of the Fula community, Mohamed C, noted that the Fula community is well granted within Liberia. As such, he called on the government of Liberia to include Fula as one of the tribes within the country. According to him, Fula is already an ethnic group, and the discrimination against Fulanese must stop at about this time.
I'm here to make a case for the Fulani community, while the Fulanis are citizens, while the Fulani continue to be faced with discrimination. So while the Fulani are citizens of the Republic of Labrador, these are not to be on a plan. Take for instance, Mr. Bao will have a passport from an original stage, meaning he has gone to foreign affairs. He obtained his passport. It goes for 5 years regarding time limit. Okay, when he goes back to foreign ministry or somewhere else, they will ask him, how did you obtain his passport? That is discrimination, because the point should be he was given a passport. It means he was able to fulfill all of the requirements. But when he goes there after 5 years, there is a question about how did you obtain this passport? The discrimination. The point is very important. Like Sangare, our dad said, our argument yesterday, our argument today, and our argument tomorrow will be about the discrimination. It's not about citizenship, because not many people know that we have elevated a conversation from tribal conversation to an ethnic conversation. So it's not about citizenship. It's about the rampant discrimination that we have been faced with as Fulanis in this country. Because it's very interesting that during elections time, the very simple will discriminate against you after elections, where they see people during elections time that were considered to be citizens. So how can you tell us that we are not citizens when in fact we have had so many candidates contesting in our elections? Because foreigners do contest elections. They are not allowed or required by the law. So it's an argument that we need now to focus on. Someone will say it's not an important argument. From an educational perspective, people get to realize that we are citizens of this country. And I think to a good extent,
Mohamesi is a member of the executive union of the Fula community. They're alleging that discrimination is high against Fula people within Liberia. Meanwhile, all effort to get response from the Liberia Immigration Service and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs did not materialize, as our reporter continues to place call and send out text messages without response from the two government entities. And this story is taking us back to Stephen Compton for the foreign news.
At least 60 people have been killed after a dam burst because of heavy rainfall in Wharton, Sudan. Such operation are currently underway, but there I fear that the death toll could even be higher. The Abad then has a capacity of 25 million meters and is the main source of drinking water for the coastal city of Port Sudan, where the military government is based. After being ravaged by 60 months of civil war, Sudan is now experiencing rainfall and flood that have killed dozens and forced tens of thousands from their homes. The collapse of the dam in Red Sea State is one of the worst incidents, washing away farms and villages downstream. Local resident Ali Assad told the AFP news agency that people had stuck in 7 cars. They tried to get them out. They could not. Neda Hussein Mohammed said he had been told that in one area of the houses and everything was swept away. It's back to you.
The foreign news from Sudan is taking us home on today's presentations of the program, Freedom Even News Basket. But before we go home, let's recap the stories we've been following. Economic Community of West African States schedules meeting with former Liberian President George Weah following his complaint against the Boubacar Koun's administration over what he terms as unprovoked attack on the party headquarters. The government of Liberia announces students and faculty exchange programs between Liberian universities and universities within the United States of America. Members of the legislature signed a certificate to reconvene the second special session of the 55th legislature in consonance with Article 32B of the 1986 Liberian Constitution. And away from Liberia, at least 60 people have been killed after a dam burst because of heavy rainfall in Wharton, Sudan, according to the BBC. Not to say many thanks to our writers, our correspondents, and editors who have been making today's presentation of the program resources. Stephen Compton was here with the Bulletin of News and the foreign news. Abraham David Camara, Sada Control, coordinator, the sound system. I'm Thomas Kojugolat. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching.